this, but he's got both
Oh
of them
yeah,
on the
well
same
yeah,
spreadsheet.
I went from fours to doubles back to fours, and I had Jim doing color with me on doubles, and it's almost assured that I played more games of doubles than he has in his life.
I've got a provincial title in doubles in my, but it's back to 2015. It was actually before they changed the rules.
Yeah.
And then I won a spiel or lost the final in a spiel a couple of years ago under the new rules. And the one nationals I played in, I shouldn't have been playing because I was hurt. But you can't have a sub, so
Yep.
if my partner was going to go, I had to play. It was ugly. It was painful. It's not a good memory.
Well, I don't have a good memory of my last spiel, so. Um, oh, practice is live on YouTube right now. Hold on.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
A very pleasant good day and welcome to the SaskTel Curling Stadium, Martensville SaskTour Spiel. From the Martensville Curling Club, we welcome you to Curling Stadium for this semifinal matchup between Kohsuke Hirata and Aaron Shutra. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Shawn Joyce. Good afternoon, Shawn.
Good afternoon. Had a chance myself to see this Hirata team pick up the steal this morning. They were fortunate to be here, tied up coming home. Left room for a draw, and it just didn't curl up for Shawn Meacham, so they steal their way through to this semifinal matchup.
And to our viewers over in Japan, Ohio, and a very pleasant Monday morning to you. It's 3:45 a.m. there, Shawn.
It's dedication to be watching for sure. Spiel in September, especially. The Shutra team, I know them fairly well. These guys all curl out of the same club as me. Aaron's been around the competitive scene for a long time. These other guys certainly capable of playing that way, but they've played more at the club championship level. I will say that I think it's interesting, and I'd have to ask, but they sure look like they've designed their jackets to look like a bottle of Pilsner. And I wouldn't put it past these four gentlemen either.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Shutra, they do have the hammer in the first end and are throwing the red stones. So that means Hirata has the blue stones. The team from Kitami, Hokkaido. And they have some guards lined up, and Aaron looks like he's going to go on cleanup duty right off the bat.
Hoping to move at least two of them here. If he hits it right, he could get all three. This is close.
Trevor Woyden with the delivery. Gets two of them moving. Not going to clear that second one, though. Does get it behind the tee line, though.
They actually were brushing that to hold it straight, and as it turns out, it needed to curl a little bit more, actually. It caught the second one too thin.
So here's Ryota Naguro. Looking to replace the guard as they lie two in the house.
If anything, maybe just curled a little too far. Looks like they've got room to go after it, and this is the turn they'd like to be hitting it from. If they can make the play on shot, roll towards the second shot, they might be able to get a double later on in the end.
So the second from Woyden. Just called for backline weight. On and off, always a pretty good sign. Looks like it's hanging out just a touch. Sweeping hard for the curl. They're going to hit. Get that little roll over, and oh, it's going to go just underneath. So doesn't really remove much of anything there, Shawn.
No. Did get it out from behind cover. The game I watched this morning, the quarterfinal with Hirata, I did notice that the stones were maybe just a little straighter. I hadn't had a chance to watch through the opening part of the weekend, but these are brand new stones this year, so you would expect with conditioning they'd be moving plenty. I did see a few clips of some takeouts over the course of the weekend. I know the striking bands are lively.
Oh, they certainly are. The granite has been prone to fly. This draw under is going to come just a touch behind the tee line. Let's see the strategy that Shutra chooses to take, and coming right on down to it. This is Justin Heather. This team's had plenty of time to enjoy some of those Pilsner's, partner, because they've come through the A. This is only their fourth game.
Yeah, they actually were one of the teams. 20 teams, I believe, if I remember correctly, started the event on just Friday. And if you happen to be one of the teams that got a bye, and there were 3 qualifiers through the A, then they only had to play 2 games to qualify. Now, a little different here as opposed to some of the events that run a full triple where it's 4 days worth of curling. Qualifying through the A qualifier was still noon yesterday, so it's not like they've gone a full day without playing a game. But
they locked that one nicely on the lid.
Yeah, and they are an aggressive team. They're not going to be scared to draw once everything was behind the tee line, whereas you'd see some teams probably peel that center guard towards the one on the corner and knowing that they'll have a double in the middle later on. That's probably, for the most part, not the shot that the Shutra team's going to lean to. It's not that they can't play the hits, but they're not scared to draw at all.
They just get a little bit of a wick there. Carry it down almost right to the shot stone. Not too bad.
Yeah, they've got okay angle blue onto the red. They probably would have liked to have gotten down a little closer and maybe even break up that existing freeze. Still in a good position for a force. If they could have locked that right on and maybe moved the back one, you could be thinking steal here. Right now, Aaron Shutra's got to be careful to make sure he's still got a shot to score. It's not looking good for getting 2 right now.
No, it certainly does not. And here is Justin Heather with his second.
Love to get tight to the guard and freeze to the inside corner of that blue if they could.
Not going to get up to that inside corner, but does advance the stones in the line.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be happy with that. Hirata's looking at rolling under. I was looking at the double on the reds.
That looks better on the overhead than it does looking straight at it.
Well, you know, the safe miss on playing the double on the reds, you have to play it as if you over curl and get the nose hit and leave your shooter right there, that's still a pretty good shot. If you roll under here, I think at this point in the end, you could probably just kick the other 3 rocks down because it's going to be 1 point for Shutra.
See how this works out. Notice yesterday the bright brand spanking new Los Angeles Dodgers had on the vice skip Usui.
Oh yeah, that'll be. I haven't been able to get a good look at that hat. I've been wondering whose it was all morning, and yeah, that would make sense with
Otane Shohei.
Otane, yeah. Although I thought, you know, when I was wondering about it, I never even occurred to me that it could be the LA Dodgers. I was wondering which Japanese team it could be. It's some strong leagues over there.
Well, I was talking with Ryan last night, and I mentioned that I was in Japan and only knew a few words, but all I had to do was mention the Dodgers and Otani, and I had an instant friend. Everybody is willing to talk baseball. He is a national hero there. And rightly so. He's probably the best baseball player I've ever seen. But this is wedged in there pretty good.
I'm not sure why you're not hitting the blue that just got thrown. Blue onto blue. You double the top two, and you're probably going to touch the red, which comes back and kills the blue beside it. But I don't see where you're scoring two if you don't move that blue at the top of the button. You can't. You freeze the pocket here. You don't have second shot.
Right, and you're not going to have second shot, and I think there's enough room to rattle that red. They might be able to get the blue on for a shot.
He might be thinking if you get the freeze here into the pocket of the two blues, you can play that slash blue onto the blue at the top and basically make a triple on the three blues, the one at the top 8 foot and the two that are full 4 with your last one. And so this rock you're about to throw would count for your second point. And you probably can't hurt yourself playing it on the last one either, because you won't give him any way to get that red stone out. It's not going anywhere.
So a setup shot here for Aaron Shutra from Saskatoon.
Well, this does not look like a draw, though.
This is tight to the guard. Passed it, no problem. They needed to get over a little bit, I think. That's not going to do much of anything. Unless they plan to play off of it later, but that's never going to work.
I'm not sure why Hirata's trying to stay on this one.
I think he thinks if he gets on it, maybe he can nudge the red out a little bit. I don't think there's
so.
enough of it there.
I don't think
there's enough of it there.
If you just blast it out, what's he got for 2? Because here's the thing. If you try to stay there and you roll 6 inches into the open, now it's in off for 4. Maybe 5 if it clears the back, the one on the back 12. If you roll into a rock's width, into the 8 foot, he comes off of it, and it's. Well, pardon me, I'm losing track of who's got which color. But it's there. It's there for an easy 2 because I think he can roll into the side of that blue stone, the back side of it.
You were sounding so good there, buddy. I didn't want to step on you.
Yeah, I'm losing track of who's got which color.
It's okay. It's still early. We got a whole day in front of us.
It's still going to be there for 2, and if you roll out, he doesn't have a shot for 2.
Yeah, I think killing that stone's a good thing. The red can only help Shutra.
Well, staying anywhere can only help Shutra as well. Yeah, even if you stay on the nose, you can probably get to the inside and kick that. It's that blue stone at the top of the button. That second shot. That's the problem. You can't just... it doesn't to me look like there's enough button at the side of the button there to get second shot. But if you put this rock in a spot where he can kick the back end of that rock and push it up a little bit, he can get a shooter in for 2. If you just roll away, he's got nothing.
So final stone for Hirata here in the first, coming with some good weight.
This is really thin if he hits it at all.
Going to catch just a piece of it and releases the rock. But I don't know how Shutra makes 2 here.
I don't think he does. You throw it into the boards and take your 1. I mean, I guess you could throw the draw to the side of the button. I don't see how you can hurt yourself, but I don't think there's any chance you can grab enough button to score.
Yeah. I'd be inclined to agree with you, partner, that it's just not there.
I thought he was freezing on the last attempt. If he freezes, then, of course, Hirata can't just blast like he just did. And now that blue onto blue, there still was another blue stone behind the red. That middle red's not going anywhere. There's a chance all 3 of the blues would have. And the stone that he had drawn with might have counted. He's throwing this away.
Yep, final stone for Shutra. It's going to go into the boards. It's going to be a single point for Aaron Shutra here in the first end. And we are underway in Martensville. We'll be back on Curling Stadium after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one whistle, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Back here in Martensville for the SaskTel Curling Stadium, Martensville SaskTour Spiel. Dave Schmel with Shawn Joyce here with you. It was a single point for Aaron Shutra in the first end, and Kohsuke Hirata will have hammer here in end number 2.
With just 1 point separating the teams, Shutra called for the center guard to start things off. And important, we're probably going to beat this to death over the next few weeks, but with the no tick zone rule coming in the last couple of years, it's so important to make sure you're touching that center line. And we have seen through the first few weeks here on the Curling Stadium, at times they have trouble holding that center line. Maybe not quite as big a swing here in Martensville, but it sure does seem that these draws, as they're coming in past the hog line, they still seem to slide forever. Like it's keen, it's sliding well, and that means that it's real easy to overslide the line you're looking for.
Shutra trying to draw on in. That draw is going to come late. Not really in a place you want to have it without hammer. And Hirata is going to come right on in.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot actually where that one stopped, because the outturn side of the sheet, or for the right-handers, and we do have a left-hander in this game, but for the right-handers, that outturn side of the sheet's pretty much gone now. The 3 guards, I mean, you might be able to play an in-turn around the blue corner, but it's not going to look great from the hacks. And for Hirata here with last rock, you don't really like having one half of the sheet closed off. Can't do anything about it yet.
This one needs to go a little bit. Ice maybe not 100% warmed up in that spot yet. Enough room for Shutra to chase it.
Yeah, that's, when you've got last rock, that's not a horrible spot for a stone. You're coming around the opposition stone anyway. If you're dead buried and he ever runs it straight back, now you're in trouble. And he's going to make a play on it. He's going to have to roll open. And this is the 5th stone of the end, so Hirata, if he chooses to, can start doing something about the guards, and this is where it'll be interesting to see how comfortable is he with half the sheet being basically gone.
And that hit does work and spill everything, and
this is aggressive.
Looking to come right back in. Yeah,
this is aggressive, especially when half the sheet is you just don't have access to the other turn right now.
That means we're gonna have an exciting game to call, partner.
Could be. Same thing here. Maybe he'd like to get just a little further undercover, but because you're coming around the opposition stone, you probably don't want to be dead buried. All of these teams are regardless of whether their strength is draw or takeout, they're all capable of making the run backs, and they all also respect their opponent's ability to make those shots. So you don't want to leave a spot where they can run it back, and if they're dead perfect, they're also buried.
So the draw here from Meguro comes right to the top button. Just a little piece of it sticking out, but not dead buried, like you mentioned.
Yeah, that's probably as good as they could do. Like they've got it right back to just in front of the tee line, so there's as much separation between the guard and the shot stone as they could get. If you're behind the tee line, he freezes to it. He's going to play the freeze here anyway, but won't be shot rock. Like, I don't think they could have walked that down to a better spot. And like you said, it's just a little offline. So if they played the run back and made it and stuck it, they wouldn't be buried because the shooter's going to have to roll a little bit.
This is going to come right on down and get just short of the nose, corner frozen. Now Hirata's going to clean up. Meguro firing away at this one. Looking to see if they can't get more than one move in here. Kill both the reds.
I wondered if that wasn't there to squirt in. Like, they didn't play it that way. He was looking to hit thick, come across the top and go over. But you saw that rock after it made contact with the second one. Came in a little tighter to the rings. I just wonder if they had absolutely fired it, could they have gotten it to carry right into the rings? Because where it stayed actually helps Aaron Shutra.
Yeah, kind of get that little shimmy through the middle and glide on in.
If it just touches the 12-foot anywhere, yes, it's still going to be in front of those two in the rings, but a rock in the rings is a little bit more dangerous for Aaron Shutra to ignore. I had a chance, as I said, to do the quarterfinal this morning that Hirata was playing in, and I know there was an end there where they were looking at a long angle run-in as a possibility later in the end. Now, he hasn't pointed it yet, but I know he thinks that way, so he's probably seen that long angle in on the blue corner guard. If he had to run it onto that red stone for a chance at 2 or 3, he might play it. That's where it would have been big to get that blue stone into the rings, because then it's an extra point if you're trying to run that corner in. Boy, this is tight to the guard.
It's going to make it past the guard. Clear that blue on out. And just like that, it's going to open up pretty quick, I think, now, boss.
Yeah, the line held up really nice with that weight. I wasn't aware they were throwing it quite that hard, but...
So here comes Hisui. Working hard to hold this one. It goes, and will they clear it out the side, out the back? It is nibbling, but look at that.
That's one of those ones where you're sweeping the opposition's rock behind the tee line and trying to decide, okay, can I get this out, or is it going to stay right in behind ours, in which case I want it to stay here?
Yeah. Take a look at that replay. Might have overcurled him just a touch, but end up with that perfect roll with both of them moving.
But there you see, right at the end, Kohsuke looking up and realizing, I don't know if I want to get this all the way out. We're in a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, because it's over buried underneath that guard.
Yeah, Justin Heather did not look happy when he let go of this. I think he knew right out of his hand this is too much weight.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with the result either.
No, he knew when he let go it was just heavy, and that's the one thing we've seen so far today. Again, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch too much of the curling at all from anywhere in the last 2 days, but it doesn't look like if you're warm here at all, you'll get much finish.
It certainly does straighten out with a little bit of extra weight. That could be a characteristic of new stones too.
Yeah, true.
This one also needs a curl mile. Starting to take the finish. I don't think they're getting all the way under, though.
As long as he's got a piece underneath just so that Aaron can't roll under cover, he's probably okay.
So you're looking to hang around here?
You're looking to
under?
you're looking to hang around. You'd love to get under. I just don't know that there's enough room. But you know, the other options, if you could hit it right on the nose, it becomes tricky for Hirata, because if he rolls 3 or 4 inches into the open, you might be able to roll behind cover on the next one. Now, he's not going to stay there, but you know, as long as he stays for shot, same thing can happen. If Hirata nose hits it, because he's going to have to make a play on it, then Aaron will have a chance to roll behind cover.
So ideally here, you just want to hit and basically just hit and stick, or is that going to generate an angle for a cross houser?
The cross houser won't be there, but the roll behind the center guard will be. If it was, you'd be satisfied with a hit right on the nose, because it's still a tough, anytime you got to roll 4 feet and stop on a very particular spot, that's a tough shot. If you could roll a rock's width to the outside, it makes it harder still, but then there's the danger that Aaron might play the corner freeze to your shot stone and take both of them away.
So here's a stone from Hirata. On and off. Pretty happy with it. And they should be.
So Aaron will definitely be looking to roll behind the center guard here. The question will be, from that broom, it looks like he's going to throw some weight at this. And you throw a little bit harder with, he's throwing the out turn here for the left-hander, so he's going to get the flatter roll off the contact, and with bigger weight he can hit it a little thicker. He's looks to me like he's trying to get the roll and still stay in front of the tee line. Easier to play the shot and get a roll behind if you bring the weight down and try to hit a little thinner, but control it with the brushers. The problem then is you're behind the tee line. This is a chance to maybe set up the steal, roll to the top of the button, but it's a tougher shot with the extra weight.
So final stone from Shutra. This is hanging on him a touch, and it's just going to hit and stick right there.
It is shot rock, so they'll have to make a play on it.
So Hirata will be looking for a hit and stick to get their deuce here. And to take a 2-1 lead. Kohsuke Hirata, final stone and number 2. Knife it over, just got to hang on full 12, and it does. So that's 2 in the books for Hirata. They lead 2-1 after 2 here in Martensville. We'll be back on Curling Stadium.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Back here in Martensville, third end action, semifinals of the SaskTour Spiel here in Martensville. Brought to you by SaskTel Curling Stadium. Kohsuke Hirata scored a deuce there in the second end. Now Shutra trailing one has hammer. They're throwing the redstones. And this one's sliding just a little bit too far on him.
Unforced error.
So Hirata going to come right back into the top four after their center guard is up. This is Yoshia Miura.
Hirata's team lost their first two games this event, then rattled off 3 wins in a row to qualify. In those first 2 games after that, they actually pitched shutouts, which a little bit harder to do in a curling game. This morning, however, in the quarterfinal, they did not have the lead until the final rock came to rest. Never led once in that game until after the final stone stopped. So this is the first time they've been playing with a lead all day.
It is their 7th game of the event now. They're hoping to play one more.
Everybody wants to play 3 on Sunday.
This is another one that just looks a little bit too toasty. Coming down a little bit now. That still not probably where he wanted it.
No, they were hoping to stay on the corner of that, or at the end, maybe even get it to curl enough so that it could have bumped but stayed in front of it, and it just rubs the stone, comes behind it enough that there'll be room to make a play on it. Roll to the corner and sit 2.
And now you got your hit. Roll on over. That's pretty good.
Yep. And Aaron Shutra's got to make a decision now. And that's the decision. Do we peel the guard, try to get back to a blank? If you could ever peel it and catch the one at the side of the 8-foot on the way by, you're already at a blank, but if you miss it, you've still got some work to do.
It looks like he wants to keep on drawing right now. So Trevor Woyden.
It's tough to ever get back to a blank playing this shot, but there's still potentially a chance for 2 here.
All right, past the guard. Now trying to work it up over to curl.
Boy, that one got some finish.
It's going to come up into contact and just push the bluestone back out of the 4-foot.
That's just the way they drew it up. That's a nice shot. I think they actually got second out of it, too. I wasn't sure they could get in that far, but... Tricky stone for Hirata to try to remove it you've got to pass it by that blue at the back of the 8.
It looks like they are going to take on the chase.
Yeah, they're trying to get close to the nose and pass it by the stone at the back on the center line side. You could pick it across the top, but you're probably losing the shooter, and then Aaron will play some kind of draw.
There's a chance if you pick it that way, you might catch your own on the way by.
You might. You're probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Well, probably not throwing enough weight to catch your own and roll out. You expect to keep 2 in the rings, but the problem is if you get caught in between those 2, this is just going straight back into the blue. This is a long ways out there yet.
It's starting to come in, or they can get far enough up, bring it up,
yeah,
and not quite slide it by. It jams dead onto it.
I think in hindsight, they might have been better off with when they had to sweep it to curl. You might have been better off to go to the plan B, as what I talked, to get it over the top, because you just, on this ice, from what I've seen of it so far today, to try to get it to finish that hard didn't seem very likely. And as it turned out, they did jam it on the back one.
So now opening for Aaron Shutra. Wood in second stone.
He might return the favor.
Oh, just curls enough. And it's going to be a lousy outside biter.
Well, yeah, they were never going to get shot rock off that, I don't think, anyway. I don't think they were going to get to the inside and roll in, but as long as you sit shot in third and don't leave a double, that's an okay result. And just by the edge of the 12-foot there is just, it's basically the same as if it was full 12. It really doesn't change anything. So as long as it hung around, they were okay.
Kohsuke with this first. This one is really tight to the guard. Have to work hard to get it by. Really tight to the guard. Oh, what a great brush. You're going to get the hit. End up holding it for nose. I didn't know if that was going to get by for a moment there.
Well, and even after it did, I'm a little surprised they stopped sweeping, because if that rolls in behind cover, they leave the double off the outside one. It's probably there even now, but it's really flat.
Well, now this one's off and going to maybe try for a roll in. Not getting anything, though. Now, Shawn, is this where you have to watch that you're going to leave an angle for a double?
Probably not now, because it's 2 rocks higher. It'll be pretty flat. In fact, this is one where you might try to roll under. If you roll a little bit broom side, you might be able to come off this one now. I'd have to see where they come to rest, but
this one's a little further out. Surely going to get the hit and roll open some.
You know, that's not a bad spot. He's sitting 2, and we're late enough in the end where it's going to be tough to get a double even set up off of either of those.
Aaron Shutra's going to try to give it a go.
Yeah, you've got to get them closer together somehow, or there's only 2 games out there. We could hear them a little bit. I just can't tell you who it was that was shouting that. I think it was Justin, who's in the hack. He liked the idea of the draw.
Well, he did mention this team's always going to run towards the draw.
They're good draws. You're comfortable with it, and they take the approach that, well, the easiest way to get to wherever we're trying to go is usually the draw. And that's a fair statement for a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that'll hit when they don't necessarily have to. Hit and roll's a tough shot. I think Justin won. He's playing the draw to the top 4 foot behind cover.
This has got plenty of line. Just needs to get there.
Yeah, they might have overswept it, actually.
Oh, certainly. Now maybe an opportunity for Hirata here.
Yeah, both brushes were down most of the way. That's as if you'd think it was light, and it was never light. I did mention that. Sorry, Dave. I did mention that in the first end. The one thing we may not see as much curl here as we have in some of the events past, but we see that where a rock, they'll just keep sliding forever. You think they're going to stop, and they don't. Like it is so fast. And I think they got caught there. They just assumed the weight was going to come off on that one, and there's still plenty of pebble down the middle, and it just slid, and you end up back 8 foot.
Yeah, it's the third stone this end that the Shutra team had a weight misjudgment on. So now here's Kohsuke. Gonna drive it home.
Sweeping at the end for curl. I'm not sure you wanted to stay there. Aaron already showed.
You didn't say it, I was going to say it.
Aaron already showed you he was willing to play the draw on the last one. If he gets this to the top 4 foot, even half behind cover, how do you get it out now?
That's a really good question. I mean, I wouldn't want to be throwing a run back this late in the end.
He's looking at the draw. He's also he looked at the in off on the one on the, if we look towards the throwers, or let's use the overhead. It's tough when I got 2 camera shots here. But if we look at the overhead, he was looking at coming off the one on the left and roll in front of it. Could make the double that way too, but you're still getting forced if you make the double. I like the same draw they just played if you're going to play the aggressive shot. I mean, they just saw it. They overswept it, but they know the path. Now, the one thing that might change that, most guys will get a little bit more curl on their in turn. It's just the way everybody releases. You tend to extend a little bit towards your shoulder. Well, Aaron's left-handed. So this is his turn, whereas that other, to play the same shot that Justin played, it would be the out turn for Aaron.
So what's your ideal depth for this? Right down to it, or?
It kind of depends on the line. Like if you're out there, if you don't get fully behind the guard, then you want to be right to the face. If you could get across the face and be dead buried or even over buried, then you don't mind top 4 foot, because then it's tough to get it by the stone at the back. I think they might get caught in between here.
Another one sliding deep.
Yeah. That was the line to leave it high, and that's not really the shot they were thinking of. He's got great line if he leaves that in front of the tee line. Not as good when he comes down and bumps it. Because now if Hirata can make the freeze or the freeze tap even, but dead freeze is all he needs, he'll have the pinhole covered, and I think both of those 2 rocks on the side are too far back to come off of them to make a play onto this rock.
Yeah, it'd be awfully flat.
Yeah. Well, and awfully risky too, because if you ever hit it thin, you come across, kill your own out of the back of the button, and you could be giving up a steal of as many as 3.
So final stone for Hirata here in the third. Looking for the freeze on the shot stone.
This
Pressures
is
don't
out
want
there.
any part of it.
Curling
Now
nice
puts on the there we go. It puts on the blinker, takes that left turn in Albuquerque. And it comes right down to it, frozen on. Pretty good result.
Yeah. It is high enough. You could probably play the double off the blue as we look on the overhead, the one on the right, the one they're looking at. It is still not without risk. If you're thin,
is there a chance, Shawn, if you make it that you jam the red onto the blue in the 8?
If you come into the hit them both at the same time, sure there is. The danger though is if you hit that first blue too thin at all and don't touch the second blue one, get to the back end of that red. He's playing this with the turn where it'd be tough to do that. He's playing what's the out turn for him, so putting the broom inside the rock already and just trying to hit it very thick, and unlikely it looks like on this ice to over curl. His problem here will be if it runs straight, or if he's got any kind of a set at all, he'll hit this right on the nose and won't move that second stone.
Aaron, for a final stone at number 3. Looking for the double, flat double to make for 2. Get the one, bounce on over. Can you move it? Can you move it far enough? Yes, you do. And you get a deuce. Beautiful shot.
Great shot, and not easy when he plays it from that turn either, because the stone comes off a little bit more dead when it's that turn. You'd get more action if he was coming into it, but less risk playing it that way. And he made a great shot.
Shutra scores 2. We'll be back from Martensville after this.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
At number 4, we're back here in Martensville. And Shawn, let's take a look at that last shot by Aaron Shutra.
Yeah, big weight by Aaron, and with his out turn, which is going to run a little bit straighter, took the ice so that they could just try to hold it straight, and did have to brush most of the way down, and comes across just enough to move it. Didn't have to move it far, but had to hit that first one very thick, and a safer way to play it, I think, with that turn. If you're going to miss it that way, you probably miss it too thick. If you miss it too thick, you're never giving up more than the one.
So he avoids the force there. Now it's Hirata here with the hammer in the 4th end.
And the center guard not on the center line, so it could be ticked. Not going to even make a play on the shot. That's a subtle change. I talked about it this morning as well. The change of the rule does mean that for a rock like this, before, if you were going to make a play on the shot stone, you just tight ice it. And now it matters whether or not that guard is touching the center line or not, because if you tight ice it and tick the guard, that can be a problem. This stone just off the center line, I thought he might make a play at at the shot rock.
Electing instead to come in under his own guard.
And you're never wrong to go around your corner guard with last rock and the 5 rock. Shooter can't deal with it right away. Kind of looking to Christmas tree it there at the end, and the same thing we just talked about last night. It just kept on sliding. Stopped in time.
Now you see Hirata, he's motioning for hack weight here to hit and roll over underneath his own cluster here.
This is the 6th rock of the end, so he can afford to tight ice this one a little bit. If he clips the guard, even if he kills it, you know, that's still a legal shot.
So here's the stone from Meguro. On and hard, it is going to be tight to that guard. Got to make it by. Now, how much of a roll? Not too much.
Yeah, not bad where it is. If you try the double, there's a chance you're losing the red one. Could try to hit and roll back to the same spot. I think that's what they settled on.
Called for about a medium weight. Wood and stone on the way.
And I heard we're big. So more weight than they had in mind. They're playing it the other way now.
Well, they got away with it.
Yeah. Sits 2 and didn't leave any kind of a double.
Hirata staying aggressive here. He's going to chase after the rock just thrown and roll under cover. Try and maybe set up 3 later.
Yeah, you could go directly after shot rock now, but the more the roll he'd like to get would still be behind the corner, and then you might make it more difficult to get rid of this rock later. So going after the one higher in the rings first.
I also think they're a little bit hot in this one. And it shimmies over. Probably not as far as they would have liked, though.
Yeah, it's not bad, though.
No, it's not, certainly.
I'm not seeing making a double. You could jam the first one. And that's what Aaron's looking at. It's not, again, can't really make the double if you're going to hold the shooter, but just to get rid of one of the blues and try to get sitting 2 back towards the center line again. It would be scary to ignore 2 blue stones in the 12-foot.
Yeah, if you get a good roll out of this, you should be able to sit 1-2.
Yeah, the scary thing about it for Aaron, and there's nothing he can do about this, is that first blue stone, when it jams, is going to be dead buried. This is not getting by the guard, though.
Now, it does have the advantage of removing the guard. But you're still staring at those 2 blue stones now.
There will be a double available on him now, though. He'd have to hit it on the nose. He's not going to roll towards the middle.
So now Hirata is going to address the shot rock with easy weight. Shingo Osui. This one hanging on them.
Yeah.
They're going plan B themselves.
Wow, there's already a double over there. You don't want to roll to where you leave a triple. Might not get the red out either.
They did not, and they did lose their shooter. So a bit of an opportunity for Shutra to try to build himself a force here.
The double's not a gimme, though. It's going over towards that red stone.
I think it makes it over the top, but I'm not 100% sure.
It really all depends on how you hit it. There's enough distance between them. There's room to go over or under. But there's also room to hit it just so that it dead jams into it. So you did see Aaron line it up.
Double attempt on the way.
Boy, anything on the outside, he might not get the second red rock or the second blue rock at all.
It's the one, and is it going to sneak by just underneath of it? So now what's the next move for Shutra?
Well, it actually becomes a case of react to what's done here, because he's sitting two. He's got a chance for the force, and he's going to want to keep that alive. But that center guard is not that far off the center line. It's only an inch or two. If Kitami throwing now, if he leaves him something that he can roll off of and get into a steal position, well, that changes things considerably.
Now this one, is that far enough back to use?
That's too deep as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I would not have kept sweeping that. Looks like Aaron's going to make the play on it to remove it. If he's doing that, I can't see him staying right there.
Gonna have to flirt with the guard. It's pretty long, but
well, you could see Justin from the overhead. He's looking at like you could freeze to that. You might not be shot on this one, but if you freeze to it on this one, you're still thinking steal.
Especially because I think Justin's pointing out that the jam is there.
Jam is there. And that's why I say that rock's too deep. I don't know why they were sweeping it at the end. You're playing an opposition that you've seen doesn't mind drawing, doesn't mind freezing. You're splitting the center line. I mean, they could play the draw here if they really wanted to. You could have been a foot higher, and there's no danger of them trying that.
So Shutra with a downweight takeout attempt.
Boy, this needs to curl to get by the red one at the back.
It's going to make contact and just clear.
Ends up corner frozen on that stone just off the rings at the back, which is probably enough to make sure that the force is still always going to be in play.
So now I guess you just have to make the best draw you can to try to get a skipper's deuce.
Yeah, but it's got to be higher than that last one. I mean, if you're in that same spot again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Aaron Shutra come down and just try to tap it back 3 inches and get the steal. They're so good at those shots.
So maybe just biting the 4-foot?
Yeah, get it buried, obviously, but yeah, you'd want to be a foot higher anyway. You can see them even tapping the ice. If you're full 8-foot dead buried on this ice, is probably good. We've seen some surfaces this year where rock full 8-foot could actually be used as a guard, but it doesn't really look like here this afternoon you could do that here.
And we mentioned that we're never criticizing an ice surface. They're just all different. It's kind of like reading a green.
Well, these are brand new rocks too. You got to be real careful because they're already probably a little sharp. The running band won't be very wide yet. If you are over aggressive in sanding these things before competition, they could be absolutely crazy.
So here's the draw from Hirata. It does not look like.
If you're anywhere near the tee line, this may as well be in the back 8.
That slides a bit too far. I would have probably swept that deep to make sure I never got in trouble.
Yeah, a bit too far or just far enough. If they leave that 6 inches short of where it is now, it's in a horrible spot. Even if Aaron froze to it now, you'd be able to follow it down again and get shot rock. Aaron's going to make a play to get it out.
Aaron Shutra with his last in the 4th. Looking to take out the shot stone.
Once they're sure they're by, they'll switch, try to get as much of this stone as they can and see if they can hold the shooter.
They'll make the takeout no problem there. So
yeah.
The course.
Sorry, Dave. Nothing to jam on that time, so getting the blue stone out wasn't and it would have been a bonus to hold the red stone. It was still going to be 12 foot.
So Kohsuke Hirata is just going to be looking for full 12 foot here to get his single point. Rush is just going to walk this one in. And that's no problem for the skipper. Hirata gets his single. We're tied up after 4 from Martensville. We'll be back on Curling Stadium right after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
You couldn't hear it.
Well, I heard you say test. Yeah, back here in Martensville. 5th end is underway. We're all tied up at 3 at the SaskTel Curling Stadium, Martensville SaskTour Spiel. From Martensville, I'm Dave Schmel with Shawn, Joyce, and on our production is Ryan Jacques. Halfway through, what do you think so far, buddy?
Well, we're right back where we started, right? Aaron Shutra had last rock in a tie game in the first end, and we're back to that spot. It's been a couple of calls so far that have surprised me, but both teams playing very well. We've even seen a couple of big weight shots, although both of these teams seem to lean towards and are very good at the soft shots.
Yes, it was an absolutely fabulous shot by Shutra in the 3rd.
There's a better draw, and I say that just as an example, as opposed to one that we saw last end. Now for the Hirata team to come down to the face of that stone, they're still going to be well up top of the 4, just biting the 4. they'd have to move that redstone quite a bit to get shot rock. Probably can't do it around a guard like this. So I'd like to get kind of right on the corner, queue it up so they can move it later.
This looks like it still has to curl a good ways. Now here comes that late finish. Really got to lean into it to try to get the rest of the way home. Comes just short of it, but I think in a pretty good position.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot. They've got some angle. It's far enough under cover. It's tough for Aaron to do much with it. This is a long ways out there, and for the start of it, the brushers weren't even bending over. They're bending now because they're looking at trying to come around everything.
That's probably about the third rock for McDonald so far. That's been just a little bit off the mark weight-wise.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember if it's the same stone every time. You do know that a lot of times if a team has a stone that they think is mismatched, they might give it to the lead. And that means the lead usually, if that's the case, the lead might have one stone that he's got a good handle on the weight on, and he's guessing at the other one. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on, because I'm not sure that it's been the same stone every end, but if it's the same stone that he's missing heavy every time, you'd start to wonder if his two stones are matched.
This is going to come up and guard it from the other side, but sticking out a little bit, but not too much.
This next shot brought to you by the number 5. There are 5 rocks already gone. It's time to start hitting guards.
He motioned to hit the guard and try to roll to a corner here.
Yeah, he won't be terribly disappointed if they straight peel. Looks like he's close to the corner, though.
Mission accomplished right there. That could prove it to be quite useful later on in this end.
Well, and even if it doesn't, it's still, because it's out there, and this is one of the reasons, going back to even some of the earlier iterations of the free guard zone, I can remember talking to coaches in events, you throw that corner guard up there and then you might never use it. And they say, well, why? What good is it if you don't use it? Well, what good it is, in my opinion, is it provides a threat. So it's something now that Hirata has to be conscious of for the entire end. And that can change the way they play the game. Just because you don't get to use a rock yourself doesn't mean it didn't influence your opposition. That's a little tighter than they would have liked.
Well, the top two go for sure now.
Well, and they're so close together, you could probably roll over towards that corner if you wanted to. You'd have to throw a little bit of weight, but... Gonna look to roll to the other side. Now, the danger here is you roll in, you might leave a double on the reds, which still wouldn't be the end of the world. It'd get you back to a blank situation. If you roll towards the corner guard, there's going to be no double on the reds.
So here's the stone from Trevor Woyden. It's going to come on up. Make the double. Roll off some.
Little spin, there it goes.
And it just finds its way to be a nibbler.
You could try the double on the reds. It's risky. And you wouldn't be in the rings.
So he's going to hit and roll in front of the pile.
And rolling in front of the pilot really doesn't matter if he's in the rings or not. I think he would be if he rolls right in front of them.
Nice easy weight for Usui here. This might roll a little bit too far on him.
You can always get away with over-rolling that one, though, because there's no double on the blues if you're on that side of it.
So they're asking for board weight for this hit. Gonna roll on over the side and hang on, might spin back. Oh, I did not see it come in contact with the side.
No, it doesn't look like it's on the rings, though. Two ways to go after this. You can either, what they're looking at, hit it on the nose. Shooter will stay right there, and the other one should kick over. As we look at the skip, it'll kick over to the left to get some separation on the blues that way. The other option is you hit it off nose on the left, jam the blue onto the red, and roll your shooter over that direction. As long as you don't leave a double.
Stone on the way from Usui. Gonna come up nicely to the nose. And there's that kick you were talking about. Now coming back, rolling in here.
Yeah, and it's not really about trying to score. Rolling behind the blue, it would be a short run. Aaron, at this point in the end, is just trying to get a chance for a double to get out of here with a blank.
Might go play underneath the guard.
Too late.
Oh, had you moved to that earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, they'd started out sweeping the curl and then quickly realized that was never going to happen and maybe just made the decision a little late.
That certainly would have changed the thought process for Hirata.
Well, Hirata's still got to be careful. Like, if he nose hits that red where it is, there's probably a double. So now where do you roll? Try to roll back to the exact same spot, would leave it a thin slash if you wanted to play it, but if you roll a little too far, it's a nose hit double. This isn't just a lob it down there type shot. It's a fairly precise roll that he's looking for.
And it looks like he's throwing the intern at it. So you have to watch out for the guard along the way. First stone for Hirata here in the fifth. All right, we're past the guard now. We're going to get the roll that we want.
You might get too much. Yeah, I'm not sure if they wanted it there. I would have said I didn't want it there.
I think he either had to roll a lot less or a lot more.
I mean, this double still has to be made, and these straight back doubles are never as easy as they look. It looks like, wow, we hit it anywhere on the nose, we've got it. Yeah, that's true, but if you hit it anywhere off the nose one side, you miss the second rock. Off the nose the other side, you jam the second rock. But it does look like if it's made, we're probably looking at a blank end here. And at least for Aaron Shutra, there's a double available, whereas there might not have been.
So here's Aaron with his first. Looking to make the double here. Needs a curl. It's still on the low side. Gonna make it, no problem, and hang around. And we're on the road to the blank. So, blank and entertainment time. What do you have for breakfast?
I've done the announcer's jinx too many times to to want to do that yet. And there is still a chance here. You saw Hirata look at rolling over towards that red stone that we're pretty sure is out of the rings. If he can roll over to hang on to just a piece of the 12-foot over there, he might force Aaron Shutra to have to, you know, he can make it very tricky to remove this, because to hit it on the center line side, it's probably jamming on that rock. And if he's going to try to hit it from the outside, he's flirting with touching the boards first. You're trying to roll to a very precise spot to do that, but it's possible. He's close.
Gonna get the hit and the roll on over, and it went out of play.
That was a good try. And, you know, really, if you're Hirata in that situation, why not give it a go? You see teams all the time, they'll talk about that, and then they play it a little too safe, and they hit it right on the nose, and it's an easy blank. He went after it there. He tried very aggressively to get that roll into a very small piece of ice that he had to hit if he was going to make a tough shot, and he didn't miss it by much. If he hangs onto the edge of the 12-foot there, that's a tough shot for Aaron Shutra. To go at it from the outside, like I said, that he'd have been close to hitting the boards, and to come at it from the other side, he'd risk the jam.
So this one will be escorted through the house. Will remain tied. Aaron Shutra will have the hammer, 3 apiece, going into end number 6. We'll be back from Martensville after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock.
You know what those...
Back here, end number 6 in Martensville. We're all tied up. Shutra has the hammer.
No time clocks.
Yeah, no time. No time clocks, buddy. So
But if there was, this is where you'd stop the clock while the two teams agreed whether or not that stone is biting the center line. And I didn't hear them. I didn't see any point. We have to talk to these guys. We don't have mics. They got a point. They got to let us know.
I think they agree. I think they agreed that it's on.
On, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really close one way or the other. It makes a difference to how you ice this, right? Because with Last Rock, in the old rules, when there was no free guard zone or no tick zone, you could tight ice this draw, and if you clipped it coming by, 2 corners, no problem. You can't do that now if it's on the center line.
Well, we're not going to find out.
No. But, again, if they think it's on, he would have taken enough ice to make sure they were by it. Too deep again, though.
It's just those fractions of a miss there, especially in those lead rocks, that can really come back and make you chase all end.
Well, yeah, and in this situation, I mean, even if you put that in the top of the 4 foot, they're going to follow you down. Like that's kind of the script you see followed in a lot of these ends with the free guard zone, right? You throw out the center guard, they come around it, you come and freeze onto it, and it's all about setting up angles. Well, the minute you slide that behind the tee line, it makes this shot a little easier. Of course, the minute I say that, it's coming now.
It's going to be just fine. Or slide a little bit too deep.
Yeah, it's got a little too much weight too.
Yeah, we have not seen any sort of slowdowns late in the game at all.
No.
So real credit to the ice crews.
I did see in the last game, might have been the 6th end, Hirata had a chance to draw for an extra point and had to go way out wide. And I think he was guessing, don't know, didn't have the chance to talk to them and wouldn't understand the reply if I did. But when he had to go out that wide, he might have been thinking, because you see this from time to time, that the speed might be different on the outside edge, and it slid through the back. The speed has been good all across the sheet for both of the draws that I've seen so far today.
In the meantime, big scrub there by the front end to get that one by the guard and make the hit. But
yeah, they were looking to roll away.
Yeah, it looks like that freeze is still available.
Yeah, they didn't want to stay there. They wanted to roll out into the open and not leave a pocket like this.
Now, if you're Hirata, how strongly are you going to push for a steal right now?
Yeah, I don't even know that I would consider this necessarily pushing for the steal, but you know that 6th end in a tie game, the team with Last Rock is going to try to get 2 on you. Yeah, you have to be careful to limit their opportunities. This is more about shrinking the house, I think, than thinking about a steal.
This is a well-thrown stone, comes right up to the face.
Yeah, that house is pretty small now. The scoring area left is less than half the button. This is where the cat and mouse becomes interesting. There's half the button left if Aaron Shutra wanted to get 2. He's going to want more room. He's going to want more room than that. That means some rocks are going to have to move. He's got to get some angle right now. He doesn't have a good angle to that blue stone. He's got to get something set up. And really, he knows that shot stone, the rock on the back of the button, is never going on the scoreboard. It's going to get moved before this end is over.
This is way out there.
Yeah. He was looking to move it here. I don't know that he was looking to move it as far as that's going. You could see Aaron watch that rock go back to see just exactly how much weight was on it. It got to the hacks. I would say that's probably more weight than what they wanted.
Yeah, I thought I heard 4 foot in their conversation, or maybe back 4.
Yeah, Hirata can start thinking about a steal now, though. If you freeze this again, whether you tap it on this attempt or not, that middle blue stone, it's a long ways away from moving. It's 2 shots at least before it's going anywhere.
Usui and Miura not won any parts of this one yet.
Yeah, this also looks like they might have been throwing a move it here, and I don't know that you needed to.
They just glance off their own and are going to skitter on back to the back 8.
You could have just frozen that one. There's lots of time left in the end to move it later.
Listening to their strategy here.
You're probably never wrong to peel the guard right now. I don't love that corner. If you could get to the other corner.
Well, they're going to talk about it for a moment.
If you could play, whose rocks are we at, Trevor? If you could play the in turn around and get to the, I could use my mouse as a pointer, but it doesn't come up on the screen. You guys can see my wish list for Jerry. I need a telestrator. Look at the overhead because we could see that better. If they could freeze to the right-hand corner of that stone in the 4-foot, which is tough because it's a little overburied that direction. But then you have angle to make that blue escape later on. Plus that blue-red, if you angle that way, it's going to drag towards that blue at the back of the 12-foot. I still like this. I don't think you're ever wrong here to peel the guard.
Well, the winner of this match is going to face Kelly Knapp in the finals. They pitched a shutout against Dylan Dirksen. Just going to peel this one off. So a little tap here, or just the guard back? They're going to just play the guard.
Yeah, I think you have to guard at least for a couple. You come into the house too early and you leave Aaron too many chances, especially if you don't get the angle just right. You guard, you know they're going to peel it again, at least one more. I would argue probably two more. And then maybe on Skip's first one, you come down, and then the question will be how hard do you want to throw it? Because you don't actually have to kill that red. You could still play the freeze tap.
Well, I don't know Japanese, but I know sign language. Hirata was emphasizing not to let this be too deep. That's just about where he put the broom down.
Yeah, and that's fine. He's still showing him that same side, and that's the side that doesn't help Aaron a lot. Peeling the guard again.
And we're going to rinse, slather, and repeat, put the guard up again.
Yep. The one thing that it's really hard to tell from any of these camera angles, if you were playing the blue red with any kind of weight, does it touch the other red? Like it's close. And if it touches the other red at all, it's liable to come back into that blue at the back of the 12-foot. That would make it really risky for Hirata to play it with any weight. But you could always come down and freeze to tap it back about 6 inches, sit shot rock, and then the blue would be going into those two red stones. Well, that's interesting because Aaron knows that that's probably the next call too. And now he's got access to the corner he might like to freeze to. Didn't think about it too hard. He's still going to peel the guard.
So a big old kick by Justin and catches it just enough. No problem there.
Just like half.
Yeah. So looking here, now is this the time when you want to make the play? And
yeah, I mean, you could throw one more guard and hope that he peels it. The problem is Aaron probably doesn't peel it if you throw one more guard because he knows what you're going to do with the last one. So you come down here, you're trying to get, you've got to get very close to the nose. If anything, just a shade to the broom side. Blue onto red, those two are so close together. The blue's not going anywhere. And then if you can just tap the red to just nibbling the back of the button, leave those two, your shooter and the other blue stone angled into the two reds. Aaron's not going to be able to get it out, but in order to make sure he has a shot to score, he might have to play it with his first one anyway and just hope that he can get it to spill a little bit.
So here's Kohsuke Hirata with his first stone of end number 6.
Even if he doesn't kick the red back far enough to sit shot, as long as he lines the first two up, he's in a pretty good spot here. Oh, they're
playing the guard.
Playing the guard, yeah.
Just a lot tighter, though. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever get enough action in that blue now with that angle that's generated? I don't.
I think a nose hit might kill all three blues. The second and third one are going to drag. Hit right on the nose of the one that was just thrown, catches half a rock of the blue one. So the one that was just thrown is gone easy. The blue-red that are together, because you're only hitting half of the first one, that red's going to drag over. Again, looking at the overhead, left a bit, and I think it catches the one at the back 12. The question will be whether or not the top one completely leaves the rings. He's not playing it. He's just picking out the one that was just thrown. I don't love this call. Because now if Hirata makes his last one, it's a steal.
So Aaron Shutra electing to lose the guard here.
Yeah, it looks like he's just straight peeling it because that's for the weight that I'd want to play if you were getting them all. This is too much ice.
Ooh, catches his own on the way by.
Yeah, he probably won't mind that. It might give him a room to get a double here.
Yeah, shooter hangs on. Sitting fourth, so it's first and third for Hirata. Sorry, second and third. Now he's looking to play that little tap. Question is, how far do you want to move it?
Well, if you're going to move it at all, you got to be moving it enough to be shot rock. The thing is, you got to leave them dead lined up now because by kicking that second red one out, there's only one rock to jam on. So if you leave them any kind of line to blast it out,
all of a sudden there's a shot at a multiple score.
Yeah, two or, three's not out of the question because these might line up so that if you touch the second red, that it'll go back into that blue at the back 12 foot. That one that they just threw that hung on at the edge of the 12 could come back into play that way.
So if you don't like it and you want to give up the one and concede that, you would just throw a guard here, right?
Well, you could. He's still got half the button to draw to for two. The other option is you could try just play a takeout with like even a controlled hit, but you're trying to hit half a rock so that the red drags half a rock on again, looking from the overhead, this time the left-hand side so that red one drags by the stone at the back of the 12 foot and sit three.
Well, with that broom, I'd say they're probably throwing somewhere around hack.
Yeah, he's playing the top. It's going to be really important to keep the two blues lined up here. If you leave any kind of angle, that'll give Aaron a shot for, at least a single, even if they're close together, and it could be 2 or perhaps even 3, depending where everything spills to.
Need to hold the line. You want to be right to the face, right to the nose. Don't want to overcurl, right to the nose. You tap it, you push it back. Oh, I think you left an angle there.
Yeah, you did. Now, same thing is going to happen. Like when they overcurled, it dragged, and you could see as the redstone was coming back, it was going towards that blue at the back 12. This is going to happen the same. Those two blue stones are very close together. When you hit this on the nose, that second one, which looks like it's going by the red right now, if you draw a line through the two stones, it's going to come a little bit straighter back than that. I don't know if it goes by the red stone. Might not.
If you hit it hard enough, you might kill the red and the blue and still get 2 that way.
No, because I don't think it's going to touch. Oh, you're thinking it might come straight back? It might.
Yeah.
Straight back and kill the one at the back 12. I feel like it'll clear that one, but I'm not positive of that by any means.
Aaron Shutra, final stone, end number 6.
He's inside the nose.
Now, you got to get it or you got to drag it past. Oh, you just touch it, but you got your deuce. So a nice fine shot there for Aaron Shutra. He gets 2. Takes a 2-stone lead going into end number 7. We'll be back from Martensville right after this.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Back here in Martensville, end number 7. Aaron Shutra just had a nice shot for 2. Well, let's take another look at it.
Yeah, we were talking about it before he threw those two blue stones. The way they were angled, you'd think they would have dragged it to maybe catch a piece of that red stone. Hitting it off center, it does drag a bit. Just touches the stone on the way by, but not enough to move it very far. Picks up his deuce.
Yes, and Hirata has the hammer here, trailing by 2 now. They're throwing the blue stones here in the SaskTel Curling Stadium. Martensville SaskTour Spiel. I'd like to thank everyone who's joined us from the other semifinal, where Kelly Knapp has advanced to the final. I'm Dave Schmel here with Shawn Joyce. Happy to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon.
Stephen McDonald continuing to have a few struggles with his draw weight here. They called for the first one at the top of the 4-foot. That's the stone you see at the back of the 12. And he's got that back 12-foot weight in his back pocket. Slides deep again. Neither of those two stones really a threat for the Hirata team. It doesn't force them to, if you got those stones in the top 4 foot, then it puts a little pressure on the Hirata team. They know they're going to have to deal with them at some point in time. They don't ever have to deal with those stones. In fact, they could use them.
Yeah, a friend of mine was coming up curling, told us those stones behind the tee line are your friend. Of course, at the club level, we play a different game than than these guys do.
Creates a bit of a dilemma for Aaron Shutra here. He doesn't mind giving up 2. He'd have the hammer coming home. The problem is you got 2 corner guards against you and the 2 stones at the back of the 8-foot work against you. You have to be real careful now. You've almost got no chance at a blank. It's really hard to force, and you have to be careful not to give up 3 here. So he's looking for the tight center guard, really just to choke off the 2 corners right now.
Well, it's going to be towards the center, but it's not going to be a guard.
No, Trevor Wyden a little heavy as well.
Very interesting to see the teams still fooled by the weight a little bit, so late in the game. Now that you put one underneath there, all kinds of catchers for it. Here's Hirata. Sorry. Meguro.
That works. It's buried. It's not shot rock. That's actually one where, you're coming around your own corner guards like that. You could have afforded to be deep. Give yourself room to get another one in behind there. But it's second shot for now, and there's still that wall of reds at the back.
Now Shutra is going to start the peel game.
Yeah. But here's where the issue is caused for the Hirata team with not getting that stone far enough back. You can't bring another one around the corner. As it is, the stone that's there after the 1 peel is now accessible. I think they're looking at guarding it again. Throw a couple of guards, let them peel a couple more before you make your move into the house. They might have to make a decision also in this end for the Hirata team. How aggressively do you want to play for 3, or are you just playing for 2 here? Because it will, that decision alone will make a decision, make the determination as to when you make your play in the house. Those 3 reds at the back could still be used, even if they can't get a second one around the corner guard. Aaron would love to see the double peel here. It's just the risk of this is that the first stone hits the second one too thin and too thick and comes into the rings.
Looking for the double peel. On the first one, you get the double peel and going to roll all the way. Now you want that out of the way. You don't want it anywhere in the neighborhood. That's a very nice shot.
Yeah, it is.
So do you go one more guard?
It would be tempting. But when it's only one guard, it's also got to be perfect. That's tough. You leave him half a rock on the center line side, he can pick it out. I guess you leave him half on the outside, there's a risk it jams.
Oh, I see what they're thinking of for a second, that they could come down to that stone in the back. They'd actually be line 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think if I'm freezing it, I'm freezing on shot rock right now. If you try to freeze the what is now third shot rock and you offset it at all, you actually leave a double on the blues. I mean, if you lock it right on, you can't risk that double because you could double jam, but it's tough to lock one on perfectly. If you freeze on the shot rock, you can even bump it a little bit because it's not going to go very far. There's another red behind it. And he can't play the double. The iron shooter can't play the double. He can't run the blue in towards all those reds that he could jam on.
Well, they must have been listening to your brilliant call there.
Well, you're always pretty safe to still have a shot for 2 playing this. As long as you get there.
Got to get there to be there.
Yeah, this is one where you couldn't be light, really. If you jiggle the reds...
you could afford to be heavy.
You jiggle the reds a little bit, you form a 3-rock wall back there, and it might have been tough to ever get that blue stone out.
They'd have a big wall, and Shutra would have paid for it.
And he's not even Mexican. You went there. I just went more obvious.
Yeah, you went a little bit too. All right, so we're going to hit that, take out that rock in the 8-foot now. Rolls right in front of the 4-foot. Interesting angles right now, Shawn. Where'd he go?
Yeah, that one actually rolled to a pretty good spot for Hirata to make a play on that red. When he rolls back the other way, he could leave a double on the blues. He's looking at playing so that would be a tap. He's not looking at throwing it real hard if he's hitting that. So hit the red kind of right on the nose, and then it's almost like a split draw, the red blue at the back. Try to get the blue sitting in front of those reds. He's still likely looking like he's always going to have a shot at 2. Right now, it's not looking very good to be able to set up 3.
So looking to come onto the corner of the throne rock.
Boy, you got to be real careful playing this, especially from this turn. If you don't sit on the corner of the red, so if it over curls or if it rubs off and sits in the open, the angle that you would be leaving at would leave a shot to double out the 2 blues.
Another one that needs to get there.
Yeah, I need some 8-foot here.
Two light ones there from Usui.
Well, how aggressive do you want to play? Like if you corner freeze that like that, it's tough to ever get it out. This late in the end, there's not going to be a good angle and not a lot of time to make one.
Yeah, I like that call. It's probably what I would call for myself.
You could play quiet, wait, and try to pick it out too, but from what we've seen of the ice, that's not an easy shot today. It's been made a number of times, but he can't see quite half, I don't think, from the hack, or he needs to hit.
But as we discussed right from the beginning of the game, this is their type of shot.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I mean, it's left for them too. That rock is just behind the tee line. If he gets on the corner, he's probably got the pinhole covered. Well, you can't outdraw that.
So Aaron Shutra trying to come right on down the shot rock. Now trying to walk it over, get that extra bit of curl. That's a good amount of separation there, though.
Yeah, they maybe overswept that early. They were worried about the line. He got by the front one with lots of room.
Yeah, certainly had room for days now. If Hirata wedges one in there, is that going to leave much for Shutra?
It depends on how far he moves it. Like, I don't think he can get under. If you're right on the nose, that leaves blue onto blue. He can play it like a double over the top. But if you don't tap the red that far back, there won't be room to get it to go. That's why you see them tapping. They could try to move it right into the back 8 foot and leave themselves sitting shot. And actually, they might be sitting 2 after that for now. But if they leave room for him to make the double and clear all the reds at the back over the top of them, he's going to be shooting against 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 5 with his last one. And you exchange hits, go twice more, 2 more hits on top of that shot rock. He might not be able to make a nose hit for shot rock either.
Right back to the sponsor of the game, the number 5.
Yeah.
Along with the good folks at SaskTel. So don't get shot here for Hirata. Just wants to move it just a few feet. Going hard for the line now. Gotta hold it. Gotta hold it just to get past. You're in trouble if you don't get past. Oh, you just wick it, and you're going to come a little bit deep. Tough miss there.
Yeah, and goes too far. Once they knew they were going to rub, they actually might have been better off to split the 2 blues, get them both into the 8 foot, and at least leave themselves a slash double on the 2 reds. Right now, if Aaron Shutra makes a good guard, I don't know what he's even got to score. Aaron thinking about the slash on his own, in which case there's no chance for 2.
Once again, the winner of this game is going to face Kelly Knapp in the finals. Finals scheduled for 5:30.
Maybe where you are.
Oh, 3:30. I'm sorry.
3:30 local time.
Yeah, 3:30 local. 5:30 where I am. My bad.
Drawing the line through. The blue at the top of the 12 foot, he can't get it by the stone at the top of the 4 and clip the 1 off the button and stay. He could make that shot for 1, but I think he's losing the raised stone. If you guard, you might steal. If you play the little slash, the red stone on the button onto that blue at the back of the 4 foot, you could sit 1, 2, 3. Well, 4 for sure. Maybe it might be 5. I think the stone at the back is still 5th.
And then
you'd lose the shooter.
Right. Then you're putting the force on and you're looking to carry the hammer home.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you ever dead stuffed at playing that hit, you're still biting a piece of the button, and that's a pretty precise draw to have to throw against 5. They're also talking about you play the guard tight. They wouldn't even be able to slash that blue in and try to score 1 that way. You'd hate to leave a triple, though. Like if you're right on the center line, could he hit it just off the nose? Just rub the stone at the top of the forefoot, come across the top of the other one? And maybe he could. It just depends where it stops.
I just want to take away the hole here and throw it relatively tight.
Yeah, I think the guard's the way to go. I mean, that slash on the blue across the top of the red at the top of the forefoot and catch the one on the button. It's there. I think it's only for 1. I don't think there's any way you can make that shot and hold the raised stone. Plus, it's risky. If you play it and you happen to catch the red too thin, it catches that blue at the back of the forefoot, and we're kicking them back to the other end. We're not throwing them.
Discussing their split times right now. Take a little bit less ice. Final rock of the 7th for Aaron Shutra. Looking to throw the tight center guard.
I heard over curling, but I don't think you're hurting yourself too much if you just show them a sliver. Well, this is going to over curl a lot. Again, a little too late. They decided, could we rub off that blue stone and cover more of it that way?
Well, I think you had to take a run at this and try to get past that top guy and just move it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be real hard to get more than 1 because it's hard to get inside the nose of that to get it past the blue. But the other thing is, by playing this stone, playing it this way, as opposed to the slash on the blue and the 12-foot, I don't see any way you're giving up more than 1 here.
This is where he needs that rock with the remote control in it. So, big shot for Kohsuke Hirata.
Yeah, if you look at the camera view from the thrower's end, you can see he's going to need to get just to the nose to pass it by the blue one. While it's a quarter under cover on a stone at the top of the 12, it's going to be tough to do that. Now, if he jams it on the blue, it'll all depend on how far everything rolls. So the thicker he hits it, even if he touches the blue, the red's going to spill farther than his shooter will, and he can get his 1 that way. If you're half a rock, I think he's jamming it, and his shooter rolls too far.
Hirata, final stone, end number 7. Needs to hit everything he can see, and then some. Got to try to be tight to the guard. Needs to work its way in. Let it come. Let it come. Now we're going to try to grind it over. Will it come up far enough to push it by? Close to the guard. Push it by and push it back. And, oh, I think it's a steal of 1.
Yeah, not enough. Just too much room coming by and jammed too solid onto the blue at the back.
So it's 1 for Shutra. He leads by 3 going into end number 8 from Martensville. We'll be back.
If he gets...
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Back here in end number 8. Really tough shot for Hirata there. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, I'm not sure he ever really had. Oops, not the one we're looking at. We're looking at.
Well, either way, he cleared that by just a little bit too much. Never really gave it a chance.
Yeah, the shot we were looking at there was the freeze that set up the steal.
That was a great shot in and of itself.
Yeah.
Shutra, with that rock being light, is going to throw the old peel of shame here. Except there's only going to be shame left.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this is interesting, and I wondered if they do this. I'm surprised they didn't do it on the last one, to be honest. Guard the guard.
I think that's a great call.
Well, you can peel your own, right? So I'm a little, and we just got to it after we got back from the replay, so we didn't get a chance to see the call beforehand. But by leaving that guard exposed, they gave the Shutra team a chance to peel their own guard. And now they're going to make sure they don't give them the same chance again.
Just want to get over and up here. Just let it just caress over the hog line.
So now you've got 3 guards to work with. Aaron can't do anything about them, so he's going to look to come around them, kind of choke them off for now. Really doesn't matter where you put this one. You know that Hirata's coming around the same way. He'll try to freeze to whatever you put in here. You don't want to be back, and nobody has even bent over yet.
Once again, for this Shutra team, just the weight struggles are just not dialed in.
Everybody's standing at the hog line hoping it'll stop, and it slides to the back.
Now, with it being that far back, that's something that Hirata can use.
Yeah, and I'd be tempted to come right back to it now. This is how they got in trouble the last end. He's looking to put one in the top of the house. Here's the problem. If you're up that high, how do you get a second one in?
So you would want to freeze all the way down to that guard right now.
You'd have to think about it, certainly. And I know on a lot of the surface they play at, there's so much curl, but it's just been a little bit straighter here today. So rocking the top of the 8-foot, it's hard to come around it. It might be easier to get the deep one first. If you're going to score 3 here, you probably have to bury 2 around these corners. So coming to the back one is just fine, and that looks like that's close to what they're going to get. I'd be bringing this back now.
Well, they got room for another one there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good result. And yes, Aaron's going to follow it down. But if you've got last rock here and you need 3 to tie, and you've got the other team chasing you around a corner guard, that's what you want. He's not peeling the guards. You're going to have a chance.
They said it was similar to the last one, but now just a little less, I hear. Coming on over. Indeed, a much better line.
This might overcurl. That made a hard turn.
Almost like the handle came off of it.
Yeah.
So now there's room here for Meguro. If you ever come to the corner of that red one, you're really happy now, I would think.
Yeah. Well, and 4's not out of the question right now.
If it finishes just a bit, you're going to do just that. And indeed you do. Oh, not bad.
Ends up on the corner of the blue. There's probably room for Aaron to throw some weight. Blue onto blue. They'll just lose the back one. But if that stays hooked on the red, he can't get rid of either of the blues right now.
Would he consider a double peel or keep chasing?
You could. You really could. I'd be tempted if you were peel the red one into the tight blue one and maybe just see if the red ones would spill into the rings.
This has got a long way to curl, trying to work it on over. It's trying. It's trying to get there. Now it took that left turn in Albuquerque. And they do get it, and it ends up in a really nice spot.
It's the second time you've said that, and I'll tell you right now, we're nowhere near Albuquerque.
You never watched Bugs Bunny growing up?
Aberdeen. It would be closer.
You never watched Bugs Bunny as a kid?
I did. You've heard me quote Marvin the Martian. Still not a bad setup in the house for Hirata. The red-blue, if he could stay again on the inside of the red with a little bit of tap, it should drag back to freeze on that stone at the back of the 8. He's got to break up the red-blue.
He'll definitely drag now. Going to over curl on him. Oh, past the guard.
Going to drag the other way.
Far. Yeah.
I think he... I was going to say, I think he gets away, but I'm not sure he does.
Taking a look at it. Right there, really dug in. It just got by.
And, you know, if you look at where he hits, so just a little off center on the red. If he's that much on the other side off center, now he lines blue onto the red at the side of the 4-foot, plus that blue would have dragged back a little towards the stone in the back 8. Right now, I think if you were ever to blast the blue, I still think the blue at the back is probably leaving. Like you could make a lot of rocks leave, but you'd be hard pressed to keep 2 blues out of that. Not that Hirata's going to look to do that anytime soon, but
right now listening into him. First thought was maybe throwing a guard in the whole pile.
Yeah, Hirata's got the angle run on the blue guard, but when he plays it now, because the angles didn't work out great for him after that shot, you can jam the blue onto the blue guard onto the blue in the 8-foot onto the red. Even if you stick those two, the red's coming back, it'll kick that blue at the back of the 4-foot, and the red on the edge of the 4-foot's still always going to be probably second shot after that's done. Now there's a lot of rocks yet to come. That would be a shot you'd throw with your last one to try for the extra, but the angles aren't there. The angles just got a little bit better as Aaron Shutra trips over a rock.
So top 12 weight's what they're asking for here.
Yeah, take away his direct path, because right now Hirata still has to try to change those angles in the house. He's got that long angle run, and they looked at it. What could he do with that? Well, right now he can't do a lot with it. So he's going to try to change some angles. And this guard is all about not letting him change those angles.
It's all there.
Yeah. I don't know that you wanted this in the house. Definitely doesn't want to break those.
Well, I think that changed the angle for that long run now.
Well, does it matter? Can you make the
Yeah.
triple on the reds? Can you get by there? If you could get to the nose of the one that was just thrown, if it misses the blue, the 3 reds are all moving. Now, it might not clear the back one. It might. It actually might clear the back one.
I think it looks. I think it looks pretty close, buddy.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other part of the bonus on that. You've got to get at least to the nose, maybe preferably just a sliver to the inside. And if you can do that, it does look like there's room. It's not going to be a gimme, but there's room. Now you slide your shooter in behind cover again too.
You're right back in business.
Yeah, well, and not just necessarily for 3. If there's no easy way to remove a blue, 4 is still in play.
So, Usui with a big shot here for his team.
Yeah, it looks like there's just room there, right? It's hard to know for sure, but it looks like there's a little bit of room between the red stone and the guard that he could get to the inside, maybe move all 3 reds and roll buried.
On and off.
It's going to have to curl.
Trying to bring it up, bring it up. Gonna hit the 1. Oh, you lose your shooter. You shuffle the deck chairs some.
Left that blue at the side of the 12, and that could matter. I mean, there's a lot of reds to deal with yet, but they're all close together.
Also left that blue on the back 4 really close to a catcher.
Yep.
And I think if you're to throw that long angle raise right now, that might actually work. It'd be close.
Yeah, at least to touch it, and if it touches it on the way by again, that rock at the edge of the 12 comes back into play, right?
So if you had to take one thing away, what do you take away?
Aaron's probably not going to look at it, but it is something you could consider. You could play a double off that stone at the edge of the 12. Come off of that onto the stone at the back of the 8-foot. You kill 2 blues right here. How does he score 3? That's the only double I'm seeing. The one at the edge of the 12-foot on the tee line. You're hitting about a third of a rock. You come across into the side of that stone at the back 8-foot.
They motioned for a second looking at the other double. I don't know.
Yeah, that's risky. I get that this rock at the top of the 8-foot looks like the scariest one. It's the most dangerous one to make a play on. It's a great shot if you make it. It's a tough shot to make. You just watched your opposition under curl on one.
So here comes Shutra with his first. This needs to curl. This needs to curl, else you're not going to like the outcome. Ooh. Just made it by.
Yeah.
My reaction exactly. So you see this one?
Yeah, you made the shot. Is it good?
It did remove that jammer in the back. That's only going to help him later.
Well, it did, but you left room for him to get the reds out. Their first thought they were looking at straight back on the red, double the 2 reds, and you'd sit second, third, and fourth. And I think that's what they have to play. I'm not sure what else they're looking at. Like that's the way to get the stone out of the back of the 4-foot without jamming that one at the back 8. You need to keep that rock in the back 8. Aaron will have a double if you make that. You make the double straight back on the red.
Mm-hmm.
Clip the red at the back of the forefoot. The two of them will go on either side of the blue at the back 8. It'll leave Aaron the chance to play the double back, straight back. If he doesn't make it, you've got some kind of double. You'd have to play it with quiet weight. The last red stone, if you have to hit it, it might not even be far enough in. Oh, I need too many rulers here. They nose hit the double, and Aaron nose hits it again and misses the double. Is his shooter beating the one on the side 12 foot? I'm not sure that it would be. So then you might be able to play just the straight run back on the guard, stick it, and that's for 3.
Well, it's just that easy, boss. Why even throw him?
it's your path to 3, right? You need 3 for the
yeah.
tie. So that's your only way to do it. You got to make this double here. We talked about it earlier. These straight back doubles are always harder than they look, because you're a hair off the broom one way or the other, and you either jam or you miss the second rock.
Yeah, you need to make this double and absolutely cannot remove your own in the back 8 foot. Hirata needing to do some surgery here. Gotta get right up to the nose. Right up to the nose. Got to go a little bit further, I think.
Jam.
Jams it all. They do hold their shooter, but that's going to be wide open.
If Aaron Shutra doesn't throw, how do you get a triple? I guess you might be able to get one off the run in because it's coming from the right angle. Just make this one go away. It won't matter.
Yeah, save your rulers for the next game.
Yeah, I think so.
So Aaron Shutra and the team from Saskatoon. He throws his final stone at number 8. Needs to make this go away to secure a win and head to the finals. And they will. And that will complete the victory for Aaron Shutra and their team over the team from Kitami, Hokkaido with Kohsuke Hirata.
Well, that was a good game, solid game for both teams. Just a couple of miscues in the 7th. That steal was huge. If not for that, it would have been a real tight game coming home. 3 points is a bit too much of a gap for them to overcome. Final is scheduled for half an hour from now. I would bet we're going to be just a little bit late. You can see the ice maker, James Gordon, just getting ready to prep the sheet now, and both teams will have a practice session. But if everybody stays with us, you won't miss any of the action in the final.
And looking back, you had to remember that big shot by Aaron Shutra in the 5th.
True, yeah.
That flat double. We were questioning whether it was even there, but he believed it, he called it, and he threw it. That was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, threw it from the side where he couldn't do himself any harm. It was a thick hit, just moved the second run. Only moved it a few inches, but that's all he had to move it to get 2 points.
So it's going to be Aaron Shutra versus Kelly Knapp in the finals as soon as the ice is ready, scheduled for about a half hour from now. But for right now, I'm Dave Schmel, along with Shawn, Joyce, Ryan, Jacques, our producer. Thank you for watching the Curling Stadium SaskTel Curling Stadium Martensville SaskTour tour. We'll be back in a half hour.
No more gin for you before the next game. Okay.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.